Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for the week of January 22nd, 2010. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas runner, professional bettor here in Vegas, and star of the CNBC special on gambling. This is segment 4 of 5, but the second segment on the NFC Championship game. We're doubling up. It's such a big game. In the first segment, and you can get all of that at pregame.tv, Marco had an official free pick, which he's been hot on overall, last couple weeks not so much, on the under. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the value is definitely on the under as well.
Now this is our extended segment, so we'll get a little deeper out there. Let's talk about a correlated parlay, because you get the old cliche, parlays are for suckers.
Not all the time.
And I think that they are not for suckers, but you are paying extra juice.
Right.
Unless there's a connection between the two games that you're betting. The classic connection is a side and a total on the same game. You profile the outcome and say, well, if Team A wins, it's going to be high scoring. If Team B wins, it's going to be low scoring or whatever. I tend to, if you like the under here, I'm not sure you don't like the Vikings. And with the rationale being that if this game is close, I think we can all agree the Vikings do not want to go into a shootout
with New Orleans.
With New Orleans, especially at New Orleans. On a neutral, maybe, and I don't even think so. But against New Orleans, at New Orleans, they don't want to shoot out. So that means that the only way that Minnesota is going to be playing a track meet is if they're losing. Thus, to me, the time that the game's going to go over, more than likely, is if the game becomes a track meet. Which the flip side is it's going to go under more often when mini is close. So, Marco, do you like the idea? And again, your official free pick's the under, is tying Minnesota with the under, because I believe that there is a correlation there.
I agree with what you say. There is a correlation. Mini doesn't win in a shootout.
Or they have a much less of a chance.
Much less of a chance. Do they necessarily, even if this game is low scoring, get it? I'm not convinced right now. I'm leaning slightly to the Saints on the game itself. But I like the under.
It is early, but let's think of it, and it'd be nice if I had a little board here, it's quadrants, right? Imagine there's 4 quadrants, there's 4 squares, and on the columns, it's over, under, and then on the rows, it's Mini and New Orleans. The theory is it's 25, 25, 25, 25. Right, there's a 25% chance it's going to be Mini over, then Mini under, then
New Orleans over, New Orleans under.
The question is that 25, 25, 25,
right.
25? And if it's not, is it maybe 32? And so you're right. It's no guarantee if it goes under that Mini is going to be the winner of the ATS. But isn't it slightly more than just 25?
I agree there. I think, and even just not even just parlays, it's fact when it comes to conference championships. They've done that even with teasers, because sports books here limit the teaser amounts when it comes to conference championship. Stations Casinos, which will take a 5-dime teaser during the NFL season, drops it to a nickel on the championship games. And their odds maker,
why is that?
Their odds maker says that conference championships, the true odds on a 7-point teaser are closer to $1.80 than $1.30.
Why would that be?
Because of the amount of games that fell within the number.
That doesn't make much sense.
I don't get it either.
Because the sample size would be so small.
Exactly.
I think
for them to lower it, for Vegas not to want to book a bet, that's a telling sign to me.
Well, you wish it was, but Vegas is so scared these days.
These days, yeah, you're right.
And again, I like the fact that people compare sports betting to blackjack, let's say, but at blackjack, if you want to go up and bet 100,000 a hand, they're going to let you. They'll give you sushi when you get it.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to bet 100,000 or even 1,000 on a teaser, they don't want you to, which is a sign they know they're vulnerable.
But you're right. There are them times where it's not 25%, and there is value in a teaser.
Or in a parlay.
In a parlay, excuse me. And I think as a bettor, you can't just think if something's a square bet. I mean, everything's a weapon that you need in your arsenal. And if you find an edge that pertains to that weapon, you need to use it. And I think in this situation, I think you're right. If it's an under game, I got to lean to the Minnesota side. And if you want the Saints, you're going to want a shootout. You're going to want them to go out there and put points up on the board. I was surprised that the line came out this short because I thought the Saints would get more respect in this. I guess they gave so much credit to Minnesota's big win. Because Minnesota's only 4-4 on the road, and they had the easiest schedule in the NFL.
And they've lost their last 3 road games, and they lost 2 of them bad.
And I know it opened at 4.5, and since it's dropped to 3.5. But what that's saying to me is that on a neutral field, the Saints would only be about a point and a half better.
All right, let's talk about that move. What we always say each week is we look at the move and say, is this true steam or is this a setup for a buyback? I'm not sure. Usually you would say, I'm not sure that the action is not going to be 50-50 on
I
this
agree
game.
with you.
And thus, I don't think it'd be hard to say for sure you're going to get Saints money or for sure you're going to get Vikings money. So my guess is any move is going to be a legitimate move.
I agree 100%.
All right, so here's let me play devil's advocate. We always talk, and Marco does a great job of talking about misimpressions. You see something, and it's just a misimpression. It affects the market, which allows us to take advantage of value. All right. Could the Saints be a misimpression? Because let's not lose sight of something. This team, really in the second half of after the Patriots game, I don't think had an impressive win.
No, you're absolutely
right. 5, 6, 7 weeks. Now you have this Arizona team, which somehow they were getting 3 at home against the Packers. But somehow, some way, they won that game. And let's be honest, if it wasn't, and again, they did win the game, but it was a close game. Let's just say that at home. I mean, that's key. Is the Saints blew them out with a amazing game from Reggie Bush, maybe his best game of his career. My question is, other than this, what would the line have been in this Minnesota-New Orleans game if it was played last week?
Right.
If it was played I think it's 3. Well, then there's another issue, which is Minnesota looks so good. So you could make the case both teams look better
and
than
the Saints, though, weren't healthy either going down the stretch. They were missing half their defense. And I mean,
how would you characterize their health now?
They say they're as healthy as they've ever been. Their safeties, their cornerbacks, Jabari, Greer, Harper, Sharper, they're all there. These guys weren't there the last 4 or 5 weeks. They never had them as a unit. They're defensive end and defensive tackle. First time since early in the season that they get both guys on the field at the same time. And we saw what they did. They shut down an Arizona offense. So I don't know. I think they're being a little disrespected.
As far as public perception goes, I feel that Minnesota come out of their game with a better, even though
Dallas was the best team left in the tournament.
Everybody had Dallas.
So you're saying the Minnesota misimpression is a little bit higher than the Saints misimpression.
Right. They're giving Minnie too much credit for
they
last
dominated the best team that was left, is what it looked like.
You know what makes me think we're right about both Minnie and New Orleans being a little overrated, and if they're both overrated, relatively neither is the fact that the future line on the Super Bowl without knowing the participants is AFC -3. All right, so if you think about that, you're most likely it's the Colts against the Saints, and they're saying -3. That tells you is this mini team, or excuse me, this Colts team is a little underrated. It would seem by the public, but Vegas is saying, hey, it's going to be a field goal on a neutral against the Minnesota or New Orleans.
Exactly. And I mean, statistically, you look at conference championships in the NFC, 21 of the last 29 games, the home teams advanced to the Super Bowl for the NFC. And here you got a line that you said the M opened up at a field goal, and now it's 3.5. I mean, they're looking at it like it's a very close game. I don't know if we're going to see that. I could see one team dominating the other, man.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we're going to be talking the biggest college basketball game on Saturday. And remember, we have a new feature. You go to pregame.tv, you can watch all of our videos, and in the comments section, make a prediction of the exact score of this game. If you get it right, we give you $50 pregame dollars to spend any way you want. No entry fee, no obligation. And if you are downloading and listening on iTunes, just search for pregame.com.